Utah cities make two kinds of land use decisions, legislative and administrative. I'm a land use consultant, and here's how to tell the difference. Legislative decisions are passed by the local legislative body, so the city council in most cases, and they set new laws or they change existing laws. Examples include amending the zoning map, amending local ordinances, imposing taxes, creating a general plan, or entering into development agreements. Administrative decisions, on the other hand, simply enforce the rules that the city already has on the books. Examples of these include approving local land use applications, such as applications for conditional use permits, subdivision applications, business licenses, building permits, or certificates of occupancy. But importantly, administrative decisions do not include applications to rezone, because that involves changing the zoning map and is a legislative decision. This difference matters for really two reasons. One is the role of the public's opinion. When you're making a legislative decision, public input is very important, and the city wants to hear from the public about what the public wants or doesn't want to be built in the neighborhood. But when it comes to an administrative decision, developers actually have rights, applicants have rights, and the public can't come out and say, I don't want that in my backyard, if the developer is following the local ordinance. So at that point, the public's role is only to present facts that might be relevant to determining the harm that a certain land use would cause. Speaking of rights, applicants generally have more rights when they're applying for an administrative approval rather than a legislative one, because cities have broad power to make legislative decisions, including changing the zoning map. So if you apply to have a parcel rezoned, the city might approve and they might not, and that's up to them. Now, there are a few exceptions in the state code, but for the most part, applicants for a permit have a presumption of approval as long as they're asking the city to make an administrative decision. Knowing what kind of decision you're making can be difficult, especially if you're on the city council or the planning commission, because those bodies can wear multiple hats. But if you're a city staff member, you're always making administrative decisions, so make sure you know what your local ordinances say. And if you're a land use applicant, use this rule of thumb. Are you asking the city to apply the rules already on the books? Then you need an administrative decision, and you have a presumption of approval. But if you're asking the city to change its zoning map or its local ordinances to accommodate your development, then you're really at the mercy of the city council. Thanks to Utah's Land Use Training Fund for sponsoring this and other educational videos.